Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So one of Devin Haney's sparring partners, or former sparring partners, by the name of Jerry Bradford, he actually did a recent interview where he was asked to give his take on a Devin Haney versus Gervonta Tank Davis fight. He was doing this interview with Ellie Setback, and throughout the whole interview, Ellie Setback was trying to make the interview about himself. He was constantly cutting off Jerry Bradford every time Jerry said something that Ellie Setback did not want to hear. As a reporter, your job is to ask questions. You're not supposed to force your opinion on the person that you're interviewing. And you're not there to interview yourself, you're there to interview the boxer. And when people listen to the interview, they want to hear what the boxer has to say. No one cares what the reporter has to say when he's doing an interview. Now, it's obviously different if you're doing commentary, but I'm gonna play this clip, and I want boxers to start paying attention to what Ellie Setback says about these fighters on the coincidental list. He's talking about Devin Haney. I'm going to play this clip, and I want you guys to remember, Ellie Setback is supposed to be a reporter. I want you guys to pay attention to how he talks about Devin Haney and damn near makes the person that he's interviewing uncomfortable because he continues to impose his radical views on the person that he's interviewing before that person can even finish his point and answer the question that's being asked. See, once again, old media reporters like Ellie Setback, he feels that he flies under the radar, and he feels no matter what he says about these black boxers, they're still going to do interviews with him and act like they don't even know what Ellie has been saying about black fighters in particular, which is the reason why Ellie feels so comfortable to say the things he's saying about fighters on the coincidental list. But I'm going to play this clip for you guys, and I'm going to really go deeper into unpacking this. Check this out.
Okay, you sparred Haney. I think Regis smokes him. I think Regis too strong. I think Haney's boxing. He lost to Loma.
No, he did not lose to Loma.
He lost to the whole world saw him lose. You like him because he's nice to you.
No, it's not even that.
Yes, it is.
I feel like Haney is like more confident where he's at in himself. And a lot of people think Prograis is going to walk over him. I'm not taking anything from Prograis, but I think Haney's going to win that
Security
fight.
check. Haney looks terrified when he fights. He looks scared and uncomfortable. He doesn't look, what do you say, confident?
I feel like he's more confident in where he's at because I'm surprised he took the fight. He took the fight. You think he would take the fight if he thought he was going to lose that fight?
Well, he wants a shortcut to the belt.
I think he wins that fight.
I think, we'll see.
I think he wins that fight unanimous decision.
I think Regis stops him, but we'll see. But
This guy, Jerry, was completely shocked when he heard Ellie Setback say, I believe Regis is going to knock him out. Once again, the guy who's being interviewed is reacting as if he's the one that's asking the questions and doing the interview. Ellie Setback, he would continue by saying Regis Prograis is going to win this fight because Regis has power. And he says, and I quote, Devin Haney has no power, he can't crack an egg. And you guys heard Ellie say he fights like he's scared. Now, once again, guys, in this interview, every single thing that he says about Devin Haney, this guy who actually sparred with Devin Haney, he's actually educating Ellie saying, well, I was actually impressed with Devin Haney's inside game because Ellie asked him, what were you most impressed about when you sparred with Devin? He said the main thing that impressed me was his inside game. Devin has a really good inside game. This is what Bradford said. But yet the reporter is constantly trying to use these old media talking points that they always use against black boxers. This is the oldest trick in the book. Racist reporters have been saying this about black fighters since the inception. Former heavyweight champion Tommy Burns, he said that all black fighters have a permanent yellow streak down their back. Back in those days, yellow was a term to describe a person as being scared. So whenever they said this about a black boxer, they were simply saying that they fight like they're scared. They have no heart. And it didn't matter how the black fighter fought, they would say it regardless. You know what really makes the whole Tommy Burns calling Jack Johnson yellow so crazy is it was actually Tommy Burns that had been avoiding Jack Johnson for years. He was actually forced into taking the Jack Johnson fight because the entire boxing world started to put an enormous amount of pressure on Tommy Burns to take the fight because Tommy Burns, he tried to price himself out. He said he would only fight Jack Johnson if they paid him $30,000, which $30,000 at that time in the sport of boxing was almost like Keith Thurman back in 2014 or 15 saying that he wants $10 million to fight Errol Spence. Well, imagine if they would have surprised Keith Thurman and they would have said, okay, Keith, we're going to give you the $10 million. We want you to fight Errol Spence next. Imagine if they would have did that. Well, that's pretty much what they did to Tommy Burns. But not only did Tommy Burns get the $30,000 that he was asking for, he also demanded a percentage of Jack Johnson's purses for the rest of his boxing career. And Tommy Burns, he got it. You only make a demand like that when you know you're going to lose. So once again, it was Tommy Burns that was yella. He knew deep down Jack Johnson was anything but yella. These were only code words for what they really wanted to call black people in general. Remember, Ellie is saying this to a guy who's been in the ring with Devin Haney. And understand this, guys, the whole point of me bringing this up is not to let fans know what Ellie is about, because fans already know this. This question goes to other boxers that look like Devin Haney and fights like Devin Haney in the ring, hit and not get hit, and doesn't have a whole lot of power. Floyd Mayweather, for example, he didn't have a lot of power. He moved up 5 weight classes. He didn't knock out too many people after he moved up to welterweight, right? So clearly when Ellie says this, he's talking about fighters like Floyd Mayweather. But even though Ellie is trying to make it seem like it has something to do with power, we know this has nothing to do with power, because Terrence Crawford has power and has knocked out everyone in the welterweight division since he's been there, including Errol Spence. And Ellie disrespected Terrence Crawford the same way he's disrespecting Devin Haney right now. See, Ellie feels because he has a good relationship with Gervonta Tank Davis, he has a pass to diss black fighters and go out of his way doing it. It reminds me of that Chris Rock segment when Chris Rock said, "Oh, I love black people, but I can't stand N-words." Now, I can't quote the exact word because I don't want the video to get flagged. I remember after Chris Rock did that joke, of course, white people, they loved the joke. So Chris Rock, he did another little segment, I think it was an audio clip, where white people, they wanted to say the same thing that Chris Rock said, and they were getting beat up for it. They felt if a black person could say, "I don't like these N-words, but I like black people," that they should be able to say it. And this is exactly what Ellie is doing right now. He was basically saying if Gervonta Tank Davis can diss some of these black fighters, then I no longer have to hide how I truly feel about Devin Haney. But it's nowhere near the same thing, because Gervonta Tank Davis and Devin Haney, number one, they are arch rivals. They're going to fight against each other eventually. Ellie Setback is not planning on fighting against Devin Haney or any of these guys. So why is he making this personal when he's supposed to be a reporter? He's letting you guys know this is what he thinks about other fighters that look like Devin Haney and go in the ring and fight like Devin Haney. Now, understand this, guys. It's normal for racist fans on the internet to say stuff like this about Devin Haney. They remain anonymous, at least the majority of them, so they have zero credibility. But when it comes to someone who is supposed to be a reporter, there's a level of integrity and professionalism that you're supposed to have. You see, just like when Ellie was dissing Black Lives Matter and some people started to check him on that, he said exactly what racists always say. Hey, well, that's my opinion. That's exactly what racism is. It's an opinion. It's the personal views that you have about a particular race. Now, I'll end this video by saying this. Devin Haney obviously doesn't have to respond to this guy. Boxers on a coincidental list, they just need to read between the lines and decipher the code words that are being used when you hear people like Ellie talking. Because I can guarantee you, if you guys watched the interview, the boxer that was being interviewed, Jerry Crawford, he couldn't believe what he was hearing from the guy that was interviewing him. You know, this goes back to the point that I always make. I tell you guys a lot of times when it comes to professional boxers, a lot of things that they say is impartial because they really have no type of agenda. And this interview was another example of that, because the only person that was being extremely non-biased was Jerry Bradford, the actual fighter. Although he picked Gervonta Tank Davis to win the fight, he was also giving Devin Haney an enormous amount of credit. He said that, you know, when it comes to Gervonta Tank Davis, although Haney has a really good defense and he's a good boxer, eventually Gervonta is going to catch him, and that's why he said he believes that Gervonta will win. But then at the same time, he said he could also see Devin Haney possibly outboxing Gervonta. See, everything that he was saying, it logically added up. It made sense. Even if you disagree with him on who you think will win the fight and how they will win, he was analytically breaking down everything that he was saying. He was saying it based off of the sport. Every single thing that Ellie was saying was based on his personal agenda, his personal feelings that really had nothing to do with boxing. We know what time it is. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap this video up. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Diki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodiki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.